Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I manage NPCs in D&D Beyond. I'm also going to share with you some tips on making a player character that I've had into an NPC. This is a special request from one of our commenters on YouTube, so thank you guys very much for looking at the videos and giving us feedback. This one's for you guys. So here from the D&D Beyond homepage, I'll just go up to my collections and I want to go to my homebrew creations because I do have a homebrewed NPC. This is a friend of a character in my Saturday Morning Wartoons games with my son Tristan that we air every Saturday on YouTube. This is Gillen Amaro. It's basically just a warlord stat block that I kind of customized and added a little bit to. Gillen Amaro is a little bit stronger than your average warlord because he has a Dragon Slayer Greatsword. I basically copied and pasted the Dragon Slayer Greatsword into his stat block. So that is available to him there. You can see exactly how I did it. When I hit that edit button, you basically just use your required information, basic information over here. You can see all I had to do was come to this actions description tab here, and I put in the Dragon Slayer Greatsword. Normally, a Greatsword is what's given to a warlord, so all I had to do was replace it with the Dragon Slayer information. Copied and pasted it right in there. Easy to do, easy to manage. I also changed a lot of the places where it said Warlord to say Gillen just to customize it for my own easy reading. I gave him all the same legendary actions. Everything there is the same. I left out any lair actions because he doesn't really have a lair. He lives in the city in a little house. And that's about it. It was pretty easy to set up. I also was able to customize his languages the way I wanted to. You can see I put Common and Draconic there. Everything else was pretty much the same. So once you have what you want, just save changes. You can even change your avatar of the character so it looks different, but for me that's not as important. For me it's all about the stats. I just need to know at a glance what I'm looking at and what I'm doing there. So Gillen Amaro is all set. I don't need to edit him anymore, and all of it is right there, so it's very easy. So let's go ahead and create a monster all our own. Now I'm going to base this one off of a character that I have. This is an old favorite of mine, Felix Giant Dropper. And there's a big long story behind that character. I ran it in a campaign once. He basically is a transmuter gnome who was able to polymorph a fire giant into a toad and dropped him down a long mine shaft, nearly killing him and nearly killing the giant entirely in the process of the fall. For those of you meta players out there, how do you end up killing a fire giant? By turning him into a frog and then dropping him, because once he drops to 0 hit points as a frog, doesn't he just transform back? Yes, unless you break concentration right before he hits the ground and turns back into a fire giant. So that's what he did. That's how he got his name, Felix Giant Dropper. And it's Felix, not Felix. Thank you very much. Anyway, so here I have my stats for the character, the player character of Felix. I have all of his spells, his equipment, all of that there. You can see the most important thing that he has is the Staff of the Magi in his equipment. He also has a Wand of the War Mage, but that just kind of sits off in the back. The Staff of the Magi is what's very important to this character. It's something that he won in combat, and it's his most prized possession right now. I drop Felix in from time to time as an NPC in my other campaigns. I've actually never created an NPC stat block that kind of reflects him. So that's what we're going to try today. So this is Felix Giant Dropper, and we're going to try and create a homebrew NPC of Felix. So I think the closest thing that we can get to Felix might be a transmuter. Let's see. So I know there's a stat block for a monster that is just a transmuter. So let's create it. So I'm basically creating a copy of a monster that already exists in D&D. I do this because he has a lot of the same spells that my transmuter gnome has, and it goes all the way up to 5th level. Now let's take a look at Felix, at his spells. His spells go well beyond 5th level, so I can add these in later and it'll all change what he has. Now these are just the spells that he has in his spell book. He's come across a lot of other spell books over the years, and so he has all of these different spells that he has access to. So first thing first, monster name. We're going to come over here and we're going to change Felix Giant Dropper. So this is Felix Giant Dropper. We know that he is a humanoid. Let's take a look. What is his alignment? Yep, I never selected alignment for him in this. It's basically, I copied this off of my pen and paper. I wasn't using D&D Beyond when I played this character, so I had to make a copy of his character. But I do know, chaotic good. He's kind of a crazy little dude. His challenge rating is definitely going to be greater than 5 after this is all said and done. Alright, so I'm going to add the Staff of the Magi to this transmuter to get him just a little bit closer to be Felix Giant Dropper. And to do that, I'm going to use a tag. So the tag I'm going to use includes a bracket there. Let's see, magic item. I always capitalize the I because that's the way I read it being done. And I'm going to put Staff of the Magi, and I will do the close bracket, magic item. Actually, let me back that up there. Oops, sorry, I forgot the slash in there, the / magic item to close out that tooltip. And so what this will allow, if I did it correctly, so when I go back down to save this character, I can go to Felix Giant Dropper, open up his stat block, and down on the bottom we have Staff of the Magi, and you can see here it opens up with the tooltip. So cool! So I can click on that and it'll automatically take me to the Staff of the Magi page, so I know exactly what it does. I love it. And I love the fact that the coding allows for that tooltip to pop up right there. So any item that you put in there, you can do that. So let's say you wanted to create a table of magic items. You can add these tooltips to notes and things like that. I'll go into that in a video next week, how to put magic items into your notes so that you can always have access to prices, things like that that you decide you want to use. Now, as I said earlier, his tooltips already came in with the spells that he has here. So a lot of these spells are already in there. So I can always go back to Felix the character and look at his spells, and I can always put those in the spell list that I want to later. So I can, what's his highest level spell? Actually, I think it goes up to level 5 there. So let's add in a level 6 spell. Let's say, animate objects. I want animate objects in there because it's one of my favorite spells. Let's go ahead and add that spell. I'm going to open up Felix Giant Dropper and add to it spell casting. So I'm going to kind of keep the format that they have here. Oops. 6th level. Let's just do 1 slot here because I haven't really spec'd out the slots on this. And I'll use the tag. You can see here they use the tag so that I can have the tooltip when I use this spell. So it is animate object. And close it out. Oop. Come down to the bottom and save that. And let's take a look, see if it added it on there. 6th level, 1 slot, animate objects, boom, there we go. And I am on my path to creating Felix Giant Dropper. So if I were to keep going with this, I would just keep adding in the spells. I would add in his items and actions that he has available to him. And I would also probably add in some of the other spell abilities, or maybe make him just a little bit stronger than your average bear. But his challenge rating would definitely go up. You can also come in and customize him even further. I know he knows quite a few languages. Take a look here at his skills. You can edit any of those that you want to. If his movement is changed however you want, you can. Even the senses, but the languages here. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Languages are actually changed in the overall edit screen. So if there's anything you wanted to change with his armor class, 15 with mage armor, you can change that. If he's wearing any special equipment, you can change that. So let's take a look at Felix here. His equipment, I don't think he has much. He has the boots of the Winterlands, but as far as his armor class, you can see it is 12, so that will be the same. Mage armor will give him 15. You can see here hit points, strength score, dexterity score. So let's see. Felix has a strength score of 8, dexterity 14, constitution 14, intelligence of 20, wisdom of 10, and charisma 15. I think the key here is going to be making his intelligence 20. I think his charisma was 15, correct? Let's go back. Yep. Wisdom 10. So we'll change that to a 10. Oh, sorry. Con and dexterity were both 14. So it makes him a little hardier, and strength score was 8. I obviously used standard array when I built this character to begin with, so it's pretty easy to see how it leveled up there. We'll just save those changes, and it should automatically adjust his spellcasting abilities when we see him here. Yep, his arcana, everything there changed. The one spell that I would most likely add to this before I did anything else would be fly, because that was something that he used a lot. And it allowed him to cast to get up to a different spot to cast his other spells that he would need to support the party. So that, in a nutshell, is Felix Giant Dropper. I think I'll keep working on this over the next couple of days, and I'll hopefully be able to show you the finished product when I get into our next video. So thank you guys for watching this week. Next week, I'll have my copy of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and I'll probably be poring over that, have some tips for you guys on what I found useful in that book. We might also have an episode of Let's Roll coming up over Thanksgiving weekend, because we will not be airing anything live. So we will most likely pre-record Let's Roll. That'll be great for you guys, because Tristan and I will most likely be changing some of the rules that we use for his sidekick, Galax. And we could also be changing some of the things that his character uses as far as abilities and the like. So we look forward to seeing you guys then. This Saturday Morning War Tunes will be airing at about 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock a.m. Hawaii time, right here where I am. So thank you guys for watching. And as always, have fun and learn lots.